The scream still echoed in our ears, our teammate gone. Snatched away by the monstrous spider, the Ji'bafofi, a creature we had dismissed as a local myth. We couldn't afford to freeze. We had to move, had to get out of this nightmare. Adrenaline surged, pushing down the fear that threatened to consume us. We grabbed our gear, our headlamps cutting through the dense foliage. The jungle, once teeming with the sounds of life, now felt eerily silent. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sent shivers down our spines. We pressed on, knowing that staying put meant certain death. Our path was treacherous, the jungle floor littered with decaying vegetation and hidden pitfalls. We stumbled forward, our senses on high alert, every shadow seeming to writhe with unseen danger. The air hung heavy and humid, thick with the smell of damp earth and something faintly metallic. The forest floor seemed to writhe around us. Insects buzzed, their tiny wings beating the humid air. Giant millipedes, disturbed by our passage, uncoiled and slithered away. The oppressive darkness pressed in, amplifying every sound, every rustle, into a potential threat. Our headlamps, our only solace in the consuming blackness, cast long, dancing shadows. They played tricks on our eyes, turning familiar shapes into lurking monsters. We dared not speak, our communication reduced to frantic hand signals and urgent gestures. We encountered the spider's webs, thick and sticky, draped across our path like macabre curtains. Each encounter sent a fresh wave of terror through us. We knew the creature responsible was vast, its hunger insatiable. We were prey, running blindly through its web. The jungle seemed to close in around us, the foliage thicker, the air heavier. We hacked our way through tangled vines and thorny bushes, our clothes ripped, our skins scratched and bleeding. The path, if it could be called that, twisted and turned, leading us deeper into the heart of the spider's domain. Exhaustion gnawed at us, our steps growing heavier, our breaths coming in ragged gasps. The memory of our fallen comrade fueled our determination. We couldn't afford to rest, not while the predator lurked in the shadows. The silence was broken only by the frantic beating of our hearts and the sound of our own movements. Every fallen leaf, every snapping branch sent a jolt of fear through us. We were lost in a labyrinth of our own terror, hunted by a creature we could barely comprehend. Just when our hope dwindled, a faint glow appeared through the dense foliage. Could it be? The moon? No, it was something else. A sliver of open sky, a ribbon of moonlight reflecting off water. The river, our lifeline. We surged forward, our exhaustion momentarily forgotten, hope lending strength to our weary limbs. The river meant a chance, a slim possibility of escape from this nightmare. We could almost taste freedom, but new danger still lurked. The air felt different near the riverbank, cooler, fresher. The oppressive silence was replaced by the gentle murmur of flowing water, a soothing counterpoint to the chaos we had just endured. But our senses remained on high alert, our instincts screaming at us to be wary. Section 5. Last Stand. We burst onto the riverbank, a small sandy clearing offering a brief respite from the suffocating jungle. The river, bathed in moonlight, flowed swiftly, its surface a tapestry of silver and black, but there was no time to admire the view. We were out in the open, vulnerable, and then we saw it. Looming over us, its colossal form silhouetted against the moonlit sky, the Ji'bafofi, its multiple eyes like glowing embers fixed on us, its mandibles clicking and hissing. It was a nightmare made flesh, a creature of pure primal terror. We huddled together, our backs to the rushing river, a desperate band facing insurmountable odds. Fear threatened to paralyze us, but we knew this was our last stand. We had come too far to surrender now. We would fight with everything we had. Section 6, an unexpected savior. Just as the creature, tense, ready to strike, a guttural roar echoed through the jungle. It was a sound that sent shivers down our spines, a sound that spoke of immense power and primal fury. The Ji'bafofi, momentarily distracted, turned its grotesque head towards the source of the noise. A new terror replaced the old. We were caught between a spider and whatever beast could unleash such a terrifying roar. The seconds stretched into an eternity, our fate hanging in the balance. The roar came again, closer this time, shaking the very ground beneath our feet. We held our breath, our eyes darting between the monstrous spider and the impenetrable darkness from which the sound emanated. This was a different kind of fear, a primal dread that spoke of ancient battles and untamed wilderness. The Ji'bafofi, sensing a new threat, hesitated. It was the opportunity we needed. We scrambled towards the inflatable raft hidden in the undergrowth, our movements frantic but coordinated. Every second counted. The spider, sensing our escape, turned back towards us, its mandibles clicking menacingly. But it was too late. We were in the raft, paddling furiously away from the bank, the current catching us and pulling us downstream. The roar followed us, echoing through the night, a terrifying reminder of the dangers that lurked in this primordial world. We didn't look back, didn't dare to see if we were being pursued. Our only focus was the river, our only hope the safety of the unknown. We paddled until our arms ached, until our lungs burned, the moon our only guide in the darkness. The jungle pressed in on either side, a wall of impenetrable blackness. We were surrounded by the sounds of the night, the croaking of frogs, the chirping of insects, the occasional splash of a fish breaking the surface of the water. But beneath the symphony of the wild, we imagined we could still hear the clicking of mandibles, the rustling of monstrous legs through the undergrowth. The memory of the Ji'bafofi, of its glowing eyes and its grotesque form, was seared into our minds. Exhaustion eventually claimed us. We collapsed in the bottom of the raft, our bodies trembling with adrenaline and fear. We had escaped the spider, but the jungle held countless other dangers. We were still far from safe, but for now we allowed ourselves a moment of fragile relief. The first rays of dawn found us adrift on the river, the jungle awakening around us. The sounds of birdsong and monkey chatter were a welcome contrast to the oppressive silence of the previous night. We had survived against all odds, but the experience had changed us. The jungle, once a source of wonder and excitement, now held a sinister edge. We had looked into the abyss, had confronted a creature out of our worst nightmares. The memory of that night, of the terror and the despair, would stay with us forever. We bore the physical and emotional scars of our encounter. Our bodies were battered and bruised, our clothes torn and bloodied, but the invisible wounds ran deeper. We had lost a friend, a comrade to the horrors of the jungle, and we knew that we would never be truly free of the nightmare we had experienced. We were still lost, our story unfolding in the depths of the Congo. Some of us began to doubt our senses, wondering if it was all a hallucination, a product of exhaustion and fear. But we knew the truth. We had seen the Ji'bafofi. We had stared into the eyes of a monster. The legend of the giant spider, once a tale whispered around campfires, had become our reality. As night fell again, we prepared for another harrowing attempt to escape. The jungle had tested us, pushed us to our limits. We faced our fears, knowing that the next encounter could be our last. The memory of the Ji'bafofi, of that night of terror and survival, haunted us. As we ventured deeper into the unknown, the shadows of the jungle seemed to close in, and we realized our ordeal was far from over. Like, subscribe and share for part 3.